But you start the day with whatever the priority is for the day. And today, Wednesdays, I like to focus on traditional marketing, sphere of influence marketing, and farm marketing, and doing scheduling and doing your farm previews so that you're on top of and aware of what's going on in your farm. So let's start talking about marketing. And on marketing, this is simply a marketing message in a graph that I picked up, a Realty Track graph. And the reason I want you to have it is it shows, and if you look in the lower left-hand corner here, from March 2009 through June or July 2010, what has happened with foreclosures, year-over-year change. So in March 2009, foreclosures were 50% above the year before. And now, of course, this is comparing it to 1 year before, but the point is that the number of foreclosures compared to previous year have been declining. So foreclosures down is good news. It means that properties are being absorbed, means that prices have or will be leveling out, and I say have or will be depending on the market, although it is a sign that every healthy sign for the economy is a sign that interest rates will be going back up because the government can't afford, the banks can't afford to keep the rates where they are. Now, there's a push right now for the rates to remain where they are. There's all kinds of proposals out there, but the point is that this is all good news, and it's delightful news for the economy and for the country, knock on wood, hopefully, but also that as things get better, rates will rise, and if someone isn't standing ready to make a decision to purchase, then by the time the rates rise and then they make a decision a week, a month later, the rate may have gone from 4.5 where they are now to 5.5. So I encourage people to get out, be looking, be somewhat aware. It's like I have a client. This is an analogy that I will use with you. I have a client who we've been talking about hiring an assistant, and she hasn't started looking yet. And I said to her, you want to be looking now. If you find the right person, you don't have to hire them. But if you're looking now and then you find the right person and you are ready, you can hire them, put them right to work, and get going. But if you're ready to hire an assistant, your business has got the momentum, and then you start looking, by the time it takes you a month, 6 weeks to put together a job description, put it in the paper, advertise, interview, and hire the right person, you've been so distracted your business may have declined enough to make you concerned about whether you should hire the assistant. So I told her, let's get you in a position to hire that assistant, even find some of the right people. Just because you found them doesn't mean you have to hire them, but you're ready to, at a moment's notice, go ahead and kick it in. Well, same thing. People should be looking for a house even before, they're completely, even if they're concerned about the interest rates, if they're waiting for the interest rates to bottom out or to start to rise, because if they start looking when the interest rates start to rise, it will be too late. Long one, sorry about that. So what's the message? Another client has been sending cards, calendars, anniversary letters, happy anniversary on the purchase of your house, and notepads and bookmarks and sports schedules. And I'm actually going to write an article about this. She went on I wrote a blog yesterday about it, and I'm going to turn it into an article. She went on a listing appointment with a past client. And the past client, she's been sending all this, I call it good garbage too, because it's really good quality, but it's off message. She has been sending this off message stuff, and the person said, as much as we like you and we trust you, we're going to be interviewing a couple of other realtors. Particularly, there's one person who's been sending us a bunch of things in our neighborhood who looks like they're doing more business in the area than you are. Now, it wasn't even the truth necessarily, but this person was marketing it more so they had a bigger image. Now, our client, let's call her Sally. Sally's been marketing, but she's been sending this off-message marketing that says, hey, here's the football schedule, aren't I a nice person, here's a bookmark, happy house. The other person has been sending on-message marketing that says, I sell houses, I'm good at selling houses, I sell houses in this area. So what's the message that your marketing is sending? Because if you're sending off-message marketing, you're putting yourself in a position where you look weaker than agents that may even be stronger than you. When you're sending on-message marketing, you can look stronger than agents that may even be stronger than you. So when you look at these two types of marketing, what's your marketing message? Are you sending good garbage, or are you sending a good message? Are you sending something that's off message? And what is the message? The message is, I sell real estate and I'm good at it. Are you sending something that's off message or something that's on message? Now, there's no problem with doing both. As a matter of fact, you should do both. But you should do more on message marketing than off message marketing. And this person had such a terrific example of how consistent off message marketing can work. But if somebody else is doing good on message marketing, you all of a sudden lose or create competition where you didn't need to have to create competition. If the message marketing she'd been sending had been more on message, I would suggest to you they'd have just discounted the other person saying, oh, that's interesting, that's good. Or if they did interview both, the agent would have had a much stronger, been able to present from a much stronger position. So I like, Marcia McCarthy, who's the person who did this left one here. Marcia sends on-message marketing consistently, and a couple times a year, she did both of these. She'll send a football schedule. Now, these may be the only two off-message pieces she sends all year. One in the spring, where she talks about read a good book for the summer. One in the fall, when she has football schedule. But throughout, she's sending these on-message pieces. Very important, a very important part of your marketing to be on message. And speaking of being on message, this is Tony Connors, and Tony just finished putting this together. And Tony's got a great story to tell because, Tony's begun farming in an area where there's another very, very, very strong agent with a very strong marketing presence. And because Tony's been consistent and persistent, and because her son lives in that area, she decided she was going to take on that market anyway and see if she could make some inroads. So this is the latest postcard she developed, and I just love the pieces. Now, she chose to use black, even though people often say not to use black, but she's not using an overwhelming amount of it, but it does cause her to be different. Okay, so is there a good presence of Tony there? Yeah, it's not an overwhelming picture, but it's a good presence of Tony. Is there real estate? Of course there is. There it is. Is there a brand? No question. Is there a message from Tony? And we'll talk about the message. It's on the back. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to go back to the front. I'm going to come back to this, so don't worry about it. I'm going to remove that in just a second. And is there calls to action? And there certainly is calls to action. So let's take a look. Tony's got a number of interesting marketing messages here. See this one? Another choice. Because she's in that farm, so she's got this little, it's not bold. She sent postcards where another choice is bold across the top, but that'll consistently be there. Another choice, another choice, another choice, another choice, sending that message to that farm area. $1.2 million in sales in 1 week. So this is she's done that, obviously. It's the truth, and this is clearly sending a message that says, I sell a whole hell of a lot of real estate. Multiply that times 52 weeks, you get some big numbers. There's houses. Now, she doesn't put location or price, but these are all within that area where she wants to impress people or in that price range where she wants to be making that impression. Good calls to action. Her market campaign is working. Let it work for you. Now, you may not realize this, but there's some subtle messages here that you wouldn't realize it. But the question is, the other agents challenge some of the noise she's heard in the neighborhood as she's been pre-inspecting all the houses, like a good farming agent does, is that the other person does a good job marketing themselves, but do they do a good job marketing the property? So her marketing campaign is working. Let it work for you implies some good things here. Not just another realtor, you're a leader in luxury homes. Another good message. I promise. Because there's some noise about maybe this other agent doesn't keep all the promises. Caring enough to achieve the highest price in the shortest time for your home. Personally caring. And then reinforcing that, remember my son Greg and family live in your neighborhood. You are my Autumn Woods family. Call me today. Good call to action. So Tony